Why did you decide to apply for the Mars One project?
I've always had a keen interest in space exploration, but I always felt it was just a pipe dream. Saw this opportunity. After years of neglecting my interest in space exploration, I returned to it. Previously, I had felt it was more important to build my career, but now I feel that was the wrong choice. My advice to everyone is simply to follow your dreams. Disregard the traditional dictums of society and find a way to make it happen. This is what will make you happy.
Why did you make such a dramatic change?
I was not happy. Simple as that.
Did you work for a large company?
Yes. I earned a degree in journalism with a specialty in space journalism. However, I then decided that pursuing a career in space journalism was a childish dream, and I took a job in public relations. But I never felt that this line of work was truly what I was meant to do, and because of that, I was unhappy with the choice. I was a PR manager and I made good money. From all outside perspectives, things were going very well for me. My life was on track to continue in this field and do well. Space exploration was just an idea that I had pushed aside to do what was expected of me. Then, about a year ago, I was sitting outside and thinking that nothing about my work interests me anymore, and I realized that I felt complete apathy for it. I said, "Dear God, what should I do?" A few days later, I heard about the Mars One project on TV. They said anyone could apply. Of course, I could hardly believe it because I know it takes a lot of education and training to become a cosmonaut. The first thing I did was to go see my professor of space journalism, cosmonaut Yuri Baturin. I walked into his lecture and I noticed in that moment how much better I felt. My apathy completely disappeared and I thought, this is the key. I asked Baturin for advice. He didn't know about the project, but he said, "Anastasia, apply. It's an action anyway, and afterwards see what it brings." So I did, and Baturin and I decided to write a book for children about space. We were trying to generate interest in space, to get them excited about space exploration. But then, before our book came out, Mars One did it. People woke up and started to get interested in space exploration again, and I hope that from now on the interest will only grow and that new projects will be initiated. I'm trying as much as possible to be part of it, to talk to people with my same interest in space.
Are you doing any physical training?
I exercise because I like it, but Mars One hasn't given us any assignments. During the winter, I cross-country ski. This is an excellent workout for all the muscle groups, including cardiovascular. Now it's summer and I swim and I'm going to try rollerblading because it's very similar to cross-country skiing.
This is one-way ticket to Mars. Are you really ready?
Of course, it's a weighty decision to make and I don't know what will happen. I applied because this was and still is the only way of fulfilling my dream, which is to fly to space. We'll still be able to communicate with those on Earth, but with a 20-minute delay. Plus, we'll build a new government and open a whole new planet. I think this is amazing. I view this as an opportunity for life and not death. Some people spend their whole lives wrapped up in their jobs and their homes and their computers that they see and know nothing of the world. So, which is better?
Do scientists know how this environment would affect one's lifespan? Would it shorten it?
Yes. Well, of course, radiation is one of the primary endangerments to life under those conditions. But scientists are working on these issues all the time. Nothing precise can be said about it yet. The transportation hasn't even yet been arranged. At least there are now contracts with SpaceX and Lockheed Martin. To me, this indicates that it's no longer just science fiction, it's a serious project. Big players believe in this project. Maybe governments will take notice. Hopefully, more companies will sign on and development will start.
How are they narrowing their candidate field? How many people will be left in the end?
In the beginning, there were 200,000 applicants from around the world. After the first round of cuts, there were 1,058. Now we're down to 706. But there are more rounds and more cuts to go. Yes. They've cut sharply. The next round is an interview in English with the project initiators. They'll be evaluating each candidate's potential, intellect, and personality. After this round, I think more than half will be cut. In 2015, there'll be 24 people left. Then those 24 will move on to a camp where they'll study and train. They, or hopefully we, will study chemistry, physics, surgery, architecture, etc. We have to know everything to survive. We can't call for a doctor or a mechanic. Each crew will consist of 4 people, therefore everything is on us. This is an amazing chance to dive into this sphere of the universe and become closer to it.
Сферу, как-то приблизиться к этому.
Just yesterday, Dima and I were saying that we'd like to take another astro trip in November 2014 to the Red Sea. It would be a simple one where people stay at hotels and attend lectures, and we would have one guided meteorite hunting trip to the desert for 2 or 3 days. I found a unique meteorite. At first we thought that it was the typical kind often found, but now we know it has some properties which are really quite different than expected. Staying in the desert for a week or 2 really changes a person. It's much different than making day trips and returning to the hotel each night. You have to overcome the fatigue and walk even when your legs hurt and your body is tired. It's rather amazing the way things happen sometimes. Once I was out in the desert waiting for Dima to arrive. By the time he found me, his feet were very blistered because he wore new boots. He wore his other ones out the day before. I have been in this situation before, so I carry special patches with me. We fixed him up and continued walking. It was then that we found this special meteorite. If things hadn't happened just like they did, we probably wouldn't have found this meteorite. We are planning another astro-trekking trip to the desert in March or April. Egyptian astronomers will take us to the remote desert and leave us with enough food and water for 7 days. Of course, we'll have communication abilities. By day, we'll search for meteorites, and at night we'll watch the sky. Exactly my type of extreme living. You're welcome to join us.
Yes, it would be amazing if I could join you. I need to train and get used to ascetic life.
We'll keep in touch.
But we would have the whole planet to explore, and I think we would not even do that in a lifetime. So I hope that it would not be a routine. Of course it would to some extent, but also with discoveries. I still think that in the caves there may be petroglyphs or traces of life in Mars.
I imagine that life on Mars would be kind of like life in the desert, or as close as you can get on Earth. A person would have to learn not to hate that environment on day-to-day basis, the same type of situation as living on Mars. What do you think the chance is that this will really happen?
Unfortunately, I'm not a scientist. I don't even have a technical education to adequately evaluate any of the possibilities. But, like any dream and any dreamer, faith and enthusiasm will play a role in making the impossible possible. So at this point, I believe it will happen.
Поэтому на данный момент я считаю, что все получится.